Hello, welcome to the Berkshire Brothers Smoked Beef Jerky Processing and Food Safety Training. This course will cover the steps involved with proper preparation of our in-house smoked beef jerky, as well as the very important food safety control checks along each stage of the process. The growth of this program relies upon the passion of our team members to provide the highest quality product to our communities in a consistently safe manner. While this training will cover key points for food safety and production, make sure to always go over all sections of your smoked beef jerky procedures manual at your location for any location-specific directives, as well as possible future updates. Training is required by state law to process smoked beef jerky, and certificates of training completion are to be kept on site in your smoked beef jerky procedures manual. The store director, market merchandisers, market managers, and employees must renew their training every 3 years. As we go through each step, take note of all food safety control checks mentioned and highlighted on the screen, as they are critical control points for the quality and safeness of our smoked beef jerky finished product. The entire process begins with meat being delivered from the distribution warehouse on refrigerated trucks, maintaining temperatures of 41 degrees Fahrenheit and below. Once the meat arrives, it is to be stored in your market walk-in coolers at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature is to be recorded on the HACCP checklist. All meat market cutting room food contact surfaces must be cleaned and sanitized before use, and the measured quaternary sanitizer parts per million concentration must be recorded on the HACCP checklist. Wash hands and then gather all ingredients, pH meter, mixing bowl, supplies and utensils needed for the marinade on a prep table prior to handling the meat to minimize cross-contamination. Refer to the recipe at your location for ingredient quantities and measurements. Always wash hands thoroughly before you begin to process, as well as after handling raw meat products, and wear disposable gloves after hand washing. Remember to change the gloves when they become soiled and between handling raw and ready-to-eat products. Safety gloves are always to be worn when handling knives and cleaning the slicer. Begin by removing the beef from the market walk-in cooler for processing and place immediately in an adjoining market cutting room maintained at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or less. The cutting room temperature is to be recorded on the HACCP checklist. Next, open the bulk bag of eye round with a clean knife. Slice the beef into jerky-sized strips, approximately 2 to 3 inches wide and 4 to 6 inches long, on a clean and sanitized market slicer. Record the quantity sliced on the HACCP checklist in pounds. Place the sliced beef into a clean and sanitized food-grade quality plastic glove. Always wash your hands and change gloves after handling the raw meat. The following marinade recipe is for our standard smoked beef jerky. However, please always refer to the manual for your specific location. For 10 pounds of eye round, open the following manufactured sealed ingredients and combine in a designated stainless steel mixing bowl. 30 ounces of Food Club soy sauce, 4.5 ounces of Christopher Ranch minced garlic, 30 ounces of Food Club Worcestershire sauce, 16 ounces of Food Club beef broth, 2.5 cups of packed brown sugar, 2.67 ounces of black pepper, 3.5 tablespoons of Food Club crushed red pepper, 3.5 tablespoons of onion powder. Stir all ingredients until thoroughly blended with the food-grade whisk. Next, you will need to test the pH of the marinade. Dispense a small amount of the marinade into a clear plastic sample portion cup. Using a calibrated pH meter, dip the sensor bulb in the prepared marinade. Stir once in circular motion, then wait for the reading to stabilize when the flashing stops. Marinade results need to be between 4.0 and 4.4 pH to ensure sufficient acidity to lower the pH of the beef jerky after smoking. If marinade pH is 4.5 or above, add slightly more Worcestershire sauce to lower the pH. Stir the marinade and retest until correct 4.0 to 4.4 pH is obtained. If the marinade is just below 4.0, no correction is needed. If the marinade becomes too acidic at 3.0 or below, prepare a new batch. Always record the corrective action if the store-specific HACCP checklist requires written documentation. Describe the corrective action taken. For example, 4 ounces or half a cup of Worcestershire sauce was added. After obtaining pH results of 4.0 to 4.4, the metering bulb can be gently washed off with P&G Dawn detergent and soft wiping cloth. Use caution when washing the pH meter to avoid damaging the sensor bulb. Rinse the detergent off the pH meter with the distilled water. Do not use tap water from the faucet on the bulb electrodes to prevent mineral buildup, which can damage the sensing bulb. Replace the cap over the meter bulb and store in a safe and sanitary location. Once a proper pH balanced marinade is ready, pour marinade into a clean and sanitized plastic lug. Begin immersing the sliced beef 1 slice at a time, paying close attention to the coating of each side of the beef. When placing sliced beef in marinade, move back and forth in a grid pattern to avoid large irregular lumps of meat. When finished, there should be no meat left without marinade coverage. After all beef has been submerged, cover the plastic lug and return it to the walk-in cooler to marinate at 35 degrees Fahrenheit for 48 to 72 hours. Once every 24 hours, the lug should be opened, and after washing hands and applying disposable gloves, the beef should be mixed thoroughly to ensure every slice receives adequate marinade coverage. On the day the beef is to be smoked, the first step will be to make sure the smoker is preheated and ready for use. Coordination with all other departments that use the location smoker is recommended for maximum efficiency of materials and energy used for production. This is important to ensure the smoking can take place without disruption to other departments. After washing hands and applying gloves, remove beef slices from the lug and place 1 layer deep on clean pans with food-grade screens placed 1 inch apart to smoke and cook evenly. Without adequate space between slices, the smoker air circulation will not easily move from top to bottom between the pans. Continue until all beef slices are panned. Remove gloves and wash hands thoroughly after handling raw meat. Now, transport all pans on a cart to the deli for smoking. Take care to minimize cart vibrations to avoid product loss. Place all pans in the smoke racks with clean utensils and disposable gloves. In the Southern Pride smoker, smoke the beef for 2 hours at the smoker temperature range of 180 degrees to 240 degrees Fahrenheit. Using a calibrated food thermocouple with digital probe, check for an internal temperature of 165 to 180 degrees Fahrenheit. If the meat does not meet the required temperature, cook the smoked beef longer and test again until it reaches an acceptable safe cooking temperature. Record the finished cooked temperature on the HACCP checklist. Move the fully cooked beef jerky from the smoker to the market to a sanitized prep table lined with new butcher paper. Place the beef jerky on clean pans 1 layer deep. Next, move the beef jerky to the market walk-in cooler maintained at 35 degrees Fahrenheit. Place on the top shelves above raw foods, or left uncovered on a rolling rack with an empty pan on the top to prevent overhead contamination. Place the beef jerky away from entryways of the cooler to minimize disturbance from employees' travel and prevent contamination. While the beef jerky cools, prepare the heat-sealed bags with any needed stickers and labels. Using a sanitized thermocouple with probe, determine when the beef jerky has cooled to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Record the cooled beef temperature and length of cooling time on the HACCP checklist once it has reached 41 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Now, in the prepared food-grade quality bags designed to prevent tampering, place 4 to 5 slices, approximately 1/4 pound, of beef jerky and seal the bags using the heat sealer. When possible, have a second employee seal the bags while the first employee places the beef jerky inside. Lastly, weigh and label each bag on a clean and sanitized scale labeler. Scale labels identify store manufacturer, address, zip code, net weight, prices, and 30-day sell-by date. The ingredient and sub-ingredient sticker identify all ingredients and declare allergens. Both must be placed on each sealed bag. You may now display and store the packaged beef jerky in retail sales areas of the store at ambient room temperature for 30 days. It is a requirement that the market manager and all market employees ensure no other products cross-contaminate the ready-to-eat beef jerky during packaging and heat sealing. Here is some additional information regarding the smoked beef jerky program. Make sure that the deli smoker racks are clean and sanitized daily. Wood storage and the floor must be kept in a sanitary condition to prevent pest activities. Please note that the control and chain of custody of beef jerky is to be maintained by Berkshire Brothers. Smoked beef jerky is to be processed on site to be sold at company-owned retail locations. The Texas Department of State Health Services Meat Safety Program has stated that company packaged beef jerky cannot be sold to external wholesalers. However, it can be transferred to other company-owned stores when transported on company vehicles with proper labeling. The transferring of retail processed beef jerky from one company-owned store to another may be subject to records review by state and federal meat investigators. Transferring smoked beef jerky must be within the state it was processed. All members of management who process beef jerky are required by law to have a valid Learn to Serve Food Safety Management certification. Certificates are renewed every 5 years. All non-management employees handling and preparing beef jerky are required to have a valid Safe Mart Food Handler certificate. Certificates are renewed every 2 years. The certificates for both are to be kept on file at the retail location. The entire HACCP checklist is to be filled out and initialed by the market manager for each batch of smoked beef jerky. Plans with calibration logs must be completed and initialed by the market manager. Sanitizer logs are to be completed daily. All plans and logs are subject to review by internal and external food safety inspectors. Failure can result in product discard and shrink. Monitoring records are to be kept on site for 1 year. Managers and employees must wear clean uniforms, aprons or smocks. Caps, hair and beard restraints are to be worn to prevent physical and biological contamination in market and deli processing areas. Managers and employees are required to report symptoms of disease and diagnoses of foodborne related illnesses to the person in charge. Employees are to be excluded and restricted as required by Texas food establishment rules. Berkshire Brothers is known for having top-tier meat markets and some of the highest quality meats in the communities we serve. Building on this, we also provide delicious beef jerky, freshly smoked in-house at our select locations. Our employees take pride in giving our customers these high-end items in a manner that pays close attention to all aspects of food safety. For any questions regarding any material covered in this course, please speak with a member of management. Thank you.